Hey guys and girls, I want to talk to you today about something that I call the plight of the good guy in life, or a good girl in life. I think this same exact thing applies to all of us, men and women. I think we all go through this maybe at one point or another, and we've all played this part of the good guy, let's say. Now, I want to make a distinction right off the bat. I'm not saying a nice guy. I think a nice guy and a good guy, or a good person, let's say, a good man or a good woman, implies two totally different things. When I say a nice guy, I mean somebody that's so naive that they get walked on in life by women or by people or by whatever. Same thing for girls. I think the same sort of attribute can rear its head there. But the nice guy just bends over backwards for everybody and does whatever, accepts whatever, is naive, like I said, and hasn't quite woken up to this realization about all this stuff whereby you can't allow people to do that to you. But I'm talking more in a different sense of the good guy or good girl. And what I mean is somebody that is a good person, that has a lot going for them, that has their shit together, let's say, that's got good morals, that comes from a good place and is just like a good moral fiber, a good caliber of person. Like, you bring a lot to the table potentially in a relationship. And by the way, like, I'm mostly talking about romantic endeavors and dating and just getting to know people here. Now, the plight is this, that you're going to have these instances where you go out and you involve yourself with people and you are the good person. And hey, the other side of the relationship could be a good person too. That's hopefully, who you're involving yourself with. But you're a good person. You bring a lot to the table. And at some point in time, this other person, for whatever reason, decides that they need to make a break for any number of reasons. It could be anything. It doesn't really matter. But the fact being is that they make a break and they peel off from the situation. They make that cut there, and you're no longer dating for a period of time. Now, I have seen this so many times in my life, and I've seen my friends that are girls go through this as well, and I've known a lot of people to go through this same sort of thing. And all that I'm doing is speaking from a little bit of experience here with a recommendation of how to handle these situations when they present themselves. But I guarantee you, mark my words, if you really are a good person listening to this right now, like, you're going to go through this at some point. But these people make a break from your situation, and oftentimes what happens is they go back out into the real harsh world where, I do think that they probably will have a hard time meeting or exceeding the caliber of person that you are, or that what you brought to the table. They're going to have a hard time finding that. So they're going to go out for 1, 2, 3, 6 months oftentimes, and they're going to go back out into the dating world, and they're probably going to find a lot of crap, a lot of shitty people out there. Let's just be honest. That's a lot of what's floating around out there, unfortunately. But they're going to go through all this stuff, and then they're going to have this realization, like, hey, wait a second, like, maybe that person that I had before wasn't that bad after all. Maybe, in fact, they were amazing and awesome, and I'm certainly have a hard time finding this thing, whatever it was that you brought to the table that was good about you. And they're going to try to make a comeback. They're going to try to circle back. They're going to try to reestablish something with you. I guarantee you this will happen at some point in time. And what I've learned, and I've done the opposite approach more often than not than what I'm about to describe. More of the times than not, I have taken them back, and I have wanted to rekindle things. I've wanted to see what could come out of a reconnection or reuniting with them. But unfortunately, in my experience, every single time, it didn't quite work out as nicely as I would have wanted it to. And what I learned is that when you do these sorts of things, like, you're never going to be able to trust that person ever again in the same way that you did in the very beginning when you first met, in the first stages of your relationship, however long it lasted. It could be months, years, whatever. But you're never, ever going to be able to trust them again in the same light, that they won't leave you again, or they won't whatever. They won't break your heart again, kind of thing. So it's really an unfortunate element or part of the nature of life, I feel like. And I wrote an article some time back about this. It was called the glass vase, and it was talking about all this stuff where I feel like once things are broken, they're broken for good, and you're better off moving on and finding something else in life. But that's more or less what I'm talking about here again, is that as you go through this plight of the good person, you're gonna have these people that try to come back into your life. And the recommendation that I'm making to you here is to not allow that to happen. Don't do it. Like, they had their chance, didn't work out for some reason. It's probably not going to work out for the long term if you try to get back with them. And I know there's some people out there that will say like, oh, well, I had a break and I got back with my XYZ, whatever. And like, yeah, things are great now. We've been married for whatever amount of years. And that's all well and fine. I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm not saying that's not a possibility. But I am saying that there's some kind of damage there that will never be completely rectified or will never be completely fixed, let's say. And I do believe that deep down in the depths of even these types of people's hearts, there is some lingering question about this other person, about whether or not they're going to leave them again, they're going to do whatever. And I just, as I said, each and every one of you has to do what you feel is right for your situation. You have to learn on your own accord. You have to experience these things sometimes. I'm just talking about what I've discovered, and it's like, this is the plight of the good person in life. And I think that if more people in general were able to grow the strength to not take people back in this regard, then I do believe the world would be a better off place. And I think that people would just hopefully learn to realize and recognize when they're in the midst of something that's truly good, or somebody that's truly good for them, and they'll think twice. But the more and more we all allow people to come and go as they please, the more and more I think people in general just have this concept that they can just toss you in the trash. And it's like, no, if you're a good person, if you're a damn good, high quality, high moral fiber, you bring a lot to the table, you got your shit together, like, no, you're not a piece of trash to just be tossed aside so somebody can go out and test their options and see what else is out in the world. Like, it doesn't work like that. You need to hold yourself to a higher standard. And what part of holding yourself to a higher standard is not allowing people to come back in your life when they try to do that after they've done what I just told you. They tossed you in the trash. They threw away what they had with you. And that's a fact of the matter. It's their bad. Sorry, it sucks. Like, that's what happened. But I want each and every one of you to realize your value, what you bring to the table, and I want you to hold yourself to that higher standard. I want you to move on in life. When somebody leaves you like that, I want you to move on and find an option that's 10 times better. And I've said this a million times on the channel. I'm going to keep hitting this. Like, the world is stupidly abundant with whatever it is that you are after. It's all out there. It's all there for you. It just takes you waking up to that realization and recognizing that it's like, no, you don't need to take this person back that left you. There's nothing that says you need to do that. You can find a better one. You will find a better one. You have to have that resolve to get back out there and do it. And yes, I know it takes work. I know it's daunting. I know you probably felt a certain way about this person that left, whatever. You probably really liked them, but as I said, just having been through a handful of times, I haven't found it to be worth it. And I do believe wholeheartedly that once that glass vase is broken, as I said before, you need to have the strength to keep on moving, keep it moving. Go out there, find a better option. All right, guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Talk to you soon.